All right, good evening, everybody. So I wanted to go over my little method of rooting different plants in the wintertime from cuttings. And two of the plants that would be perfect for rooting for cuttings would be figs and mulberries. And so that's what I've got here in these two bins. And what's interesting is I came up with this little method last year and it worked really well for me because I didn't have any time to kind of babysit all these cuttings and make sure everything was growing and the moisture content was right, and I just didn't have time. So I'm going to call this the lazy man's method of rooting cuttings, and this is just an alternative way to root these cuttings. Janine just posted not too long ago a really wonderful way of rooting cuttings, and this is just an alternative way of doing it, and I have a reason for the way that I came up to do these cuttings. Of rooting them this way, but like I said, it works out really good. So we've got the exact same bins, which these bins are really nice because I just got tired of losing the lids on all the other bins. So these have these little interlocking lid here so that when the cuttings are smaller, you can keep this closed and keep the humidity level up in these little crates until the rootings start to sprout. So I want to show you some of these guys. So I've got some mulberries in here, figs. A lot of these have already started going. In fact, I've got to get a lot of these potted up, which I really don't have time for either, but I'm going to see what I can do. So what's nice about this way is, let me show you first of all what I do. So I take a bag, plastic bag, and this bag is about, I think these are 2 inches across, and I think they were 12 inches tall or 10 inches tall. And then I take a mix of 50-50 peat moss and perlite, and I get it wet in a big bin. I just make a big mix at once. And then I take, I let it dry out, I let it drain. Then I take that moisture content, I take a handful of that and I fill half the bag with that mixture. Then I just take the cutting and I just stick it down in the center of this little pouch, this little bag that I've created. And then the top, so now I don't have to wrap these at all because I didn't want to spend any time wrapping every single one of these cuttings because I just don't have time. So like I said, this is literally the lazy man's. So I just put it down in these bags, and then I put the bags, I line them all up and put as many as I can fit in each one of these bins, and then I just close the lid on them. And then I just leave them in there for about 2 weeks. Doesn't take very long. And then you'll see some roots starting to grow. And then you can start to air these out and open the container and let these start to get adjusted to the air and some of the sunlight. So I've got these in the dining room here where they can get some little bit of sunlight now, but it's just really nice. You can root literally anything. Let me show you some of these roots, but it just gets crazy roots. Look at this. Super crazy roots. And I didn't really have to do anything to this. And you see this is just an old cutting, a larger cutting. I actually like to use the larger cuttings because they seem to root really easy. And this is kind of just an old, craggly looking, this is an Isha green. So this, you wouldn't even think would root or do anything with, but now I'm gonna have a nice tree with this. And then the other reason that I did this, well, yeah, I need to get these planted. But just look at the roots. They're just solid with roots in 3 weeks. But what's nice about these is I can ship them. So I wanted a way to be able to send these to somebody without the roots being damaged so bad, and being able to transport them. So now I can just pull this little sleeve up over them and put them in one of those foam orange mailing packages and just send these to people now. So instead of sending them just the cutting, I can send them a rooted cutting for right around the same price. So yeah, these worked out really well. So you're gonna get those kind of roots in all these depending on the size, like I said. So this one's a little bit smaller diameter, so the roots aren't quite as full as those bigger chunks. So I like to use the bigger chunks. And I've got some mulberries going in here. They look pretty good. But yeah, I'm gonna have to get all this stuff planted here pretty soon. But one of the cooler things is, let me show you if I can find this one. So I've used this method for this also, this one. So you can also sprout avocados this way. You see the avocado tree growing in there? So all you do is you just take that seed and you just shove it down in that pouch, and it'll send the root out and it'll send the little top up, and then you can send these little avocado trees to people if you want to. And it's a nice way to contain these. So yeah, you never even have to water these, because that moisture content stays nice in there for quite a while. And I didn't have to water on these, check on these or anything. So these are as simple as fill the bag up with soil, shove the stick in, put these in the bin, and shut the lid on them, and walk away from the things for 2 weeks, come back, check on them, and see what's going on, start to open them up, start to see if any of them need planted. But yeah, these big old cuttings. Wow. It's just, you wouldn't think that. I mean, that thing is huge. That thing's over an inch. So this will start, is he putting out roots already? Oh yeah, he's got some roots going. Okay, so I was gonna say, this one should start putting out roots soon. You start to see the foliage up top first. So this is what is this? A Shangri-La mulberry. But yeah, that's way thicker than my thumb even. So I don't mind using the bigger cuttings. Oh, look at that little guy's got a little fig on him. When he's trying to fruit his little cutting. It's crazy things. The mulberries will do it too. Mulberries try to fruit. So, all right, guys, I just wanted to show you. Oh, another thing too. You can do this method with monster cuttings. Look at this big old cutting. So this, I just took a big branch and hacked it off, and I put a big Ziploc bag full of that same mixture, and I shoved the big stick down in there, and then I had a bag over this for a little while until it started to put up some growth. And now, I don't know if you can see it, but right here, he's pushing some new growth there, and I saw another one somewhere there, but it won't focus. So this one is starting to grow. So yeah, you can have send somebody a little mini fig tree this way also. So yeah, it works nice for all kinds of different ways of rooting cuttings. All right, guys, thank you for watching.